A pot boils on the stove. Suddenly, the gas tank below ignites. The kitchen erupts in a massive explosion. A woman desperately pulls her mother-in-law through the burning living room. The older woman shoves her away, pleading with her to go. She pushes her again, forcing her to run. The wife flees in tears. Looking back in horror, the mother-in-law collapses, trapped by the flames. She pulls out a photo of her son, clutching it as she weeps. Outside, the husband walks towards the blaze, but he's with another woman, his secretary. The wife runs out of the house, covered in soot. She grabs her husband's arm, begging him to help. He coldly shoves her hand off, his face like stone. She recoils in shock. The secretary playfully puts on a firefighter's helmet, posing for a selfie as the husband smiles. He dons a fire suit. The wife screams at him, utterly bewildered. He ignores her, walking into the inferno with his secretary. Inside, they find the mother-in-law unconscious on the floor. Suddenly, a heavy cabinet teeters. The husband shoves the secretary to safety, but it crashes down, trapping her leg. She screams in agony. He rushes to her, ignoring his own mother just feet away. He struggles, finally lifting the cabinet. He scoops the secretary into his arms and carries her out of the fire, leaving his mother behind. He emerges from the burning building, carrying the other woman. The wife stares, her face a mask of confusion and dread. She points at the secretary, her eyes frantically asking where his mother is. He sets the other woman down and calmly faces his wife. His expression is cold. His words are like ice. The wife's face crumbles, shattered by the devastating truth. The wife stares at her husband, her eyes burning with a new, horrifying understanding. She points at him, her voice trembling with accusation. He glares back, his face twisting with anger. He blames her, pointing an aggressive finger. Her face crumples in disbelief. A flashback shows him yelling at his wife in their living room. She pleads with him, but he refuses to listen. His mother watches from the doorway, her face etched with sorrow. Back in the present, the wife's expression turns to ice. Just then, firefighters wheel a gurney from the house, carrying his mother's body. The wife cries out, rushing towards the gurney. The husband freezes, his face a mask of shock and guilt. The secretary watches, her eyes wide with fear. Suddenly, the secretary bursts into tears, grabbing his arm. He immediately turns to comfort her, pulling her into an embrace. He then pulls a document from his jacket, shoving it at his wife, demanding she sign it. The wife looks at the paper, then back at him with pure contempt. She refuses. He looks furious. The secretary begins to sob hysterically. Clinging to him, he consoles her, but her tears escalate into a full-blown tantrum. She suddenly grabs a firefighter's axe, raising it wildly, threatening to strike herself. The husband lunges, grabbing it just in time. He yells at her, but she just stares back, her eyes vacant. He glares at his wife, blaming her for the secretary's breakdown. The wife stares back, her face a mixture of shock and disgust. He repeats his demand, his voice shaking with rage. The wife screams back, her words a torrent of grief and fury. The husband is stunned into silence. The wife challenges him, her eyes daring him to see the truth. He slowly turns, his gaze falling on the body on the gurney. He leans in, his eyes widening in horror as he recognizes his own mother. The secretary suddenly clutches her head, feigning a dizzy spell. He rushes to her side, momentarily distracted. She whispers to him, urging him to examine the body. He turns back, his face a storm of conflicting emotions. He then erupts, accusing his wife of lying, of orchestrating the whole thing. The secretary joins in, her voice dripping with false sympathy. The husband picks up the document again, holding it out to his wife, his face a mask of cold determination. He pulls out his phone, starts recording her, and forces her to verbally agree to let him sign on her behalf. He then signs the paper, a cruel smile on his face. The secretary beams. He hands her the signed document, and then shoves his wife out of the way. The wife watches them go, her heart completely shattered, and tells him she wants a divorce. He freezes, turning to look at her, completely stunned. The husband stares at his wife, completely bewildered by her demand for a divorce. He accuses her of being crazy, but she stands firm, her expression resolute. He tries to reason with her, pointing out that she has no one else. His words are a cruel mix of condescension and control. The wife's eyes flash with fury. She reminds him of her family's wealth and accuses him of only wanting her for her money. He recoils, his face a mask of outrage. The wife doesn't flinch, her gaze unwavering. She calls him out on his pathetic insecurity. The secretary throws herself at the husband's feet, weeping and begging the wife not to leave him. She blames herself for everything, even starting to strike her own face. The husband rushes to stop her, pulling her into a protective embrace. He glares at his wife, his eyes filled with venom, accusing her of tormenting the innocent secretary. The wife stands her ground, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Suddenly, she lunges forward, striking the secretary across the face, his face contorted with rage. He shoves her back. The wife stumbles, her eyes wide with shock and betrayal. She glares at him, her voice dripping with venom. He shoves her again, striking her across the face, her face a mask of weary resignation. She tells him she's tired, and that they'll finalize the divorce after his mother's funeral. She turns and walks away, The secretary rushes to his side, feigning concern. He takes her hand, his expression softening. He assures her it's not her fault. The wife stands before the gurney, her gaze fixed on the body. She speaks to her mother-in-law, her voice filled with a quiet sorrow. The firefighters wheel the gurney away. Later, at the funeral, the wife stands before a large portrait of her mother-in-law. Her parents approach, their faces etched with concern and anger. Her mother takes her hand, offering comfort. Her father vows to make the husband pay. The wife assures them she'll be fine, explaining that she wants to see her mother-in-law off one last time. Her parents nod in understanding and leave her to her grief. The wife lights incense and kneels before the altar. Suddenly, the secretary saunters in, dressed in a pink schoolgirl outfit with cat ears. The wife looks up, her eyes narrowing with fury. The secretary smirks and announces that the husband sent her. A girl in cat ears happily splatters paint at a somber gathering. The woman in black clenches her fist, her patience snapping. She explodes, pointing furiously towards the door. The cat girl's smile vanishes. Suddenly, the CEO steps forward, shielding the cat girl. He glares coldly at the woman in black. The cat girl smiles. Victorious, the woman in black watches, tears welling in her eyes as the CEO takes the cat girl's hand. The CEO comforts her, then turns back to the woman in black, his face filled with accusation. The cat girl smirks behind his back. The CEO continues to scold the woman, who shouts back in desperation, pointing at the ruined decorations. Suddenly, the CEO's eyes widen in shock, as if seeing the scene clearly for the first time. He then turns to the woman in black, gesturing dismissively. The woman stares back, her face crumbling in disbelief and pain. The cat girl smugly joins in, mocking the woman, defeated. The woman in black turns away, her eyes filled with tears. Suddenly, an older couple enters. The woman in black rushes to them. The CEO freezes, his jaw dropping in utter shock as he stares at the older woman. A memory flashes. A fire. The woman in black, covered in soot, thrusts a paper at him, but he refuses, screaming at her. She screams back. Back in the present, the CEO's eyes widen in horror. The full weight of his mistake crushes him. The woman in black lays out the truth, but the CEO shakes his head. Completely lost, the cat girl grabs his arm, her face a mask of concern. She whispers that the woman in black must have hired an imposter, insulting the deceased appearance. The CEO's confusion hardens into certainty. He nods. Agreeing with the cat girl, he points an accusing finger at the woman in black, shouting that she's trying to deceive him. The woman in black fires back, defending her parents' kindness, but he ignores her. His face contorted with rage and a twisted sense of betrayal. He sneers, then strides purposefully towards the covered body. The woman in black tries to cover the body again, but he stops her. The cat girl sidles up, taunting the woman. The CEO's face twists in delusion. He accuses the woman of hiding the body to force him into an inheritance. Suddenly, the woman's father lunges forward, striking the CEO hard across the face. The CEO stumbles back. Stunned, the father explodes with rage. The CEO snarls, calling him an imposter and raising a fist. But the woman in black intercepts, stopping her father's hand. She tells him it's over, that they've done their duty. The family turns their back on the CEO, Mao Xiao. The mother lights incense, telling her daughter they are leaving. The father sadly places the incense in the burner. As they bow their heads, the CEO, consumed by rage, shoves the entire memorial table. It crashes to the floor, scattering everything. The parents gasp in horror. The woman in black stares, her face a cold mask of fury. The father comforts the mother, then looks at the deceased portrait with a heavy heart. The CEO smirks, completely unfazed. He mocks the parents, calling them professional actors, but the woman in black turns to her parents, her voice firm, and leads them away. The CEO blocks her path, grabbing her arm. He taunts her about leaving her mother's funeral. The cat girl pulls on his sleeve, her face a mask of fake concern. The CEO's expression softens as he looks at her. He praises her kindness and her superior background. The woman in black watches, her face hardening with disgust. The CEO turns back to her, his voice a low threat. He warns her not to leave. The woman in black meets his gaze, her eyes blazing with defiance. She tells him to stay away from the funeral, and that she's filing for divorce. He lunges, grabbing her arm again, but she violently shoves him away. Her patience finally shattered, the woman in black calls the CEO by his last name. He freezes, then a slow, cruel smile spreads across his face. He mocks her for changing her address. The cat girl watches, a smug look on her face. The woman in black scoffs, then turns to him, her voice dripping with ice. She accuses him of cheating. The cat girl immediately feigns tears, clutching the CEO's arm. He comforts her, then turns on the woman in black, his eyes blazing with fury. He accuses her of slandering the cat girl. The woman in black laughs, a bitter, broken sound. She lays out the truth, that as long as they are married, the cat girl will always be the other woman. The CEO lunges at her from, his hand raised to strike, but she catches his wrist. The cat girl pleads with them to stop, her voice filled with fake sorrow. She offers to leave. The woman in black stares at her, pure contempt in her eyes. She sneers, then offers the CEO to the catgirl, turning to leave with her parents. The CEO grabs her arm again, refusing to let her go. The woman in black glares at him, her patience gone. She tells him to look at the body. One last time the CEO scoffs, then strides over to the gurney. He rips the sheet off, his eyes widening in pure, unadulterated horror. The catgirl clings to the CEO, feigning terror. He comforts her, shielding her eyes. The woman in black stares at them, her heart aching with betrayal. The catgirl peeks through her fingers, a smug look on her face. She then turns to the woman in black, her voice dripping with fake sympathy. The CEO joins in, his tone condescending. He tells the woman that he and the catgirl have done their best and offers to stay married if she apologizes. The catgirl then offers a tearful false confession. The woman in black clenches her fist. Suddenly, her mother grabs her arm. Her eyes wide with shock, she points to the body on the gurney, claiming it moved. Her face a mask of disbelief. The woman in black rushes to the gurney. The woman in black kneels, gently touching the deceased's face. The CEO sneers, accusing her of putting on a show. She checks for a pulse, a flicker of hope in her eyes. She feels a faint breath. The CEO continues his tirade, his voice dripping with sarcasm. The woman in black ignores him, her eyes wide with a dawning realization. She calls for an ambulance, convinced her mother-in-law is alive. The CEO's face hardens. He accuses her of trying to trick him. The catgirl joins in, her voice laced with fake pity. The woman in black pleads with him, begging him to help, but he refuses, his eyes cold and unforgiving. The catgirl clings to his arm, whispering that the woman is crazy. The CEO nods, his face a mask of grim determination. He tells the catgirl he's leaving. As they turn to go, the deceased's hand twitches, then clenches into a fist. A low moan escapes her lips. The CEO freezes,